Welcome to the December 3rd, 2019 episode of Reactive Consciousness, our in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Dracologist.
Our
Welcome
trusty
back.
third. Yeah, absolutely. It was getting a little lonely in here without somebody keeping the lights on, so...
I always
we're...
record with the lights on. I don't know what you're talking about.
What happened to Pyrojack?
Life gets in the way. So,
Well,
but you know what? It's okay. We got things going on, so it's cool. They'll be back probably sometime. So, they just have other stuff going on, but that's okay. But we have some good news. It's been kind of a little light news this week, so we kind of have some more free-form topics at the end here. But I did want to go over some cool news bits that I came across. First is we have a fan translation nearing completion here for a Falcom game that people have been wanting a translation of for a long time, and this is Trails of Zero. So this is one of the games that got passed over during the time period where it wasn't NIS, it was XE was working on the Trails of the original Trails series, the Trails in the Sky series. They were thankfully able to get through 1 through 3. But there was actually a series of 2 games that happened in between Trails in the Sky and Trails of Cold Steel 1. And so they were Trails from Azure and Trails from Zero. The fan translation on Azure is either close to being done or or done, and Trails from Zero is very nearing completion per a Twitter post from one of the translators. So this is really great. I believe there are digital versions of these games on the PC where you can apply these patches that they're making. So it's really neat. You could buy them digitally pretty easily, from what I understand. So I'm excited for that because these games, the series was basically incomplete. And there are so many games in these Falcom series, so it's kind of daunting. I recommend starting, maybe at Trails of Cold Steel 1 for most people, but if you have been kind of waiting on Trails of Cold Steel because you were hoping this would near completion at some point, I would definitely give this a shot because it'll give you the full experience. It'll be a good time. As well to start with Trails in the Sky, because by the time you're done playing those 3 games, you'll have these to play. So I think that's pretty cool. I haven't started any of them, so I'm woefully behind. Who the hell knows if I'll ever get a chance to play them, because they're gigantic games, all of them. Apparently they're all really great. They're huge. So and it takes me a long time to get through a big RPG like that. I'm slowly getting through Dragon Quest XI S on the Switch, but I have 35 hours put into that, and it's it's not nearly done. I pretty much just met my entire party. So that's the way these games go. But just kind of wanted to announce that I'm always excited for a new fan translation for a major series for like a glaring hole that we've been missing, and this is a great one, especially with a Falcom game, which I love. Another bit of news kind of related to this, because this is Falcom going, but Streaming Arrow Records announced that they are releasing 2 separate vinyls, one for Ease 1 and one for Ease 2. Ease 1 and 2 have some of the most fantastic music of their era. Yuzo Koshiro wrote music for both of them, I think, or at least East 2. So they're very impressive. And they're a lot of fun, and they're great to listen to. And I think they're their original incarnations too. So if you really like some old school PC 88 and PC 98 music, which I do, this is going to be worth it for you. I'm a big fan of Falcom's music. They have some of the best music in video games, and I am excited for these finals. There are a lot of Ys games, so and the music is always good. So especially Ys 3. Ys 3 has some fantastic music, and then up to Arkham and Pishtim and Oath and Felgana. Those both have fantastic soundtracks. So I'm hoping eventually they move their way up to those. So. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but this was pretty cool. This was an early 360 and PS3 game, Stranglehold. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I've seen it around. The the John Woo video game.
The John Woo game.
Yeah, it's the sequel. It's the video game sequel to Hard Boiled, which is a John Woo classic. It's one of if somebody recommends a John Woo film,
Mission Impossible 2, obviously.
I was just gonna say it's probably gonna be Mission Impossible 2, or Face Off, or Broken Arrow.
Oh, Face Off was John Woo?
Oh yes.
Nice.
But if you just know John Woo for his American productions, you're not. It's certainly misdirected Woo.
I think I've seen exactly 2 John Woo movies. One of them being Mission Impossible 2. The other, I actually forgot the name, but I did see one of his non-American movies. The premise was interesting. Like, there was a shootout in the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And some woman is too close to one of the guns when it goes off, so the muzzle flash blinds her, and so the rest of the movie is dealing with that. It's interesting.
Yeah, John Woo's Hong Kong output was revolutionary and really, really great.
Yeah.
And Hard Boiled is the pinnacle of it. So it's certainly probably his greatest and most well known Hong Kong movie. It was really cool to have a sequel made by him in video game form. So really, it was pretty cool. It's a little janky by today's standards, but it's a lot of fun if you like that B tier sort of jank from that era, which I certainly do. I really like stuff that is
like from Wet.
Yeah. That's a good example
Wet?
of a B level game.
I could forget.
Wet is really great.
I want to play that.
You don't like Wet? A Dracologist, you don't like Wet?
I didn't hear too much good about it.
No, it was fun.
It's a stupid Grindhouse movie, except it's a game. I want to play that.
No, I really like stupid B level video games that have aren't perfect, but have fun ideas and are kind of wacky. And Wet was certainly one of those. And
if I want to say John Woo with Stranglehold and dots flying out of your arsehole anytime the camera makes a slow-mo shot, then the only thing that comes to mind is Max Payne.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like a low-rent Max Payne clone or a Dead to Rights clone, even if you remember Dead to Rights. Even better. Stranglehold was a lot of fun, and I still think it's worth playing today, especially if you are a fan of Hard Boiled or maybe become one, because of the attention it's getting. But it was console only for a long time, and so this is really cool that they are putting this on PC. So it's it can be currently bought and it'll be properly preserved, and it'll have resolution switching and things like that, and possibly mods down the line or whatever. And it's available on GOG exclusively.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
So no DRM, so that's great. Nothing funky, just a bare bones, port of an old game that has a movie license. So I'm very happy that it's not lost to time. We have somebody who's interested in keeping the IP alive, which is pretty cool. This also had some minor notoriety at the time for being the only PS3 game that had region locking.
Oh yeah, because of the movie license.
Yeah, because
although
what happened
actually,
was,
I think. Oh, you said at the time, because I was going to say I believe Persona Arena had it as well.
Yeah, there are very few games that have it, and the ones that do are very much available in both territories anyway.
Yes.
It's just that Stranglehold has the actual hard-boiled movie on the Blu-ray along with the game. So and we didn't have they wanted to make sure that was policed correctly. So
actually, regarding that, is Mortal Kombat 9 region locked as well then? Because didn't it come with the MK1 movie?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think they cared at that point.
Fuck it.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. I mean, Persona Arena had that because they didn't want Japanese people buying the cheaper American version.
It's cheaper to import.
Yeah. That was the main reason.
Can you imagine
that.
just going to the store is more expensive than having it shipped from America? It's crazy.
But this is really cool. I hope this happens more because, to be honest, if I could get rid of my systems from this era, I would really like it because the systems that we have now are a lot better than the the PS4 and the Xbox One. No, I just mean in terms of conveniences and things like that, and I don't know. I just the Xbox 360. I just don't want to have it, but I have to have it. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I get it. Like compatibility and all that buzz.
Yeah. The Xbox 360 actual hardware is a bunch of junk. And same thing with PS3, early PS3s, which I have one. I try to not use it as much as possible so I don't kill it. That's a problem because I should be able to use it whenever I want. But and the Xbox 360, those if you have one of the old models, which I do, it's a ticking time bomb. So it already failed once on me during college. Thankfully, it hasn't since. But 360s most of the games that I really love from that era have PC versions. So thankfully, but there's still some games that will never be moved forward.
You gotta hold on to your 360 so you can get that one download only FromSoft Tenchu game.
I didn't even know about that.
I didn't either until I was looking up a list of their games. I was like everyone said, "Oh, Sekiro is like Tenchu if FromSoft made it," but FromSoft made an actual Tenchu game.
Wow.
They made everything after the first one, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. And
not sure. Just asking.
For which?
Tenchu, From Software made the I don't
they
know
only made the later
one.
ones, I think.
That only after, the first one was not them, but everything after that was them.
That's what I heard, but when I went onto the wiki, it only listed the one downloadable title, so I'm not sure if they helped make it or publish it or what. I'm not sure about that. I only saw one game to their credit, but that could be inaccurate.
The second game I don't think was made by them. The first game was made by Acquire, published by Activision. Maybe some of the Acquire team members moved on to FromSoft.
I don't know. The only Tenchu game I saw on the Wikipedia for FromSoft's list of released games was just the one 360 game, which I didn't know existed.
Tenchu 2 and was still made by Acquire. Tenchu 3 was made by FromSoft. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
For the that's the PS2 one. So the third one on.
Okay, got me there.
Yeah.
If I recall the whole game was almost like playing the game Thief, only you were less of a thief and more of an assassin.
Yeah,
correct.
But yeah, pretty much. It was very like stealthy.
Same.
Yeah, let me see here. There was a bunch of spin-offs, and I think it was Z is the one you're talking about. Well, no, that was a boxed version. Tenchu Z was boxed.
Yeah, no, the
it wasn't
one
a
that
download.
I'm talking about,
Shadow Assault, probably. Yes.
I think that's the one.
Shadow Assault, yeah. So FromSoft made several Tenchu games.
All right. Yeah, Shadow Assault : Tenchu. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I think this was a 2D one. And it was not... just like most From Software games at the time, it was not well received.
Yeah.
Like From Software, people forget, was like a very odd company until they made
even when Demon Souls came out. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I know how to get to the boss, but like, what is this game? What the fuck am I doing? What is the lore? What is anything going on in this game? Like, if you want to unlock the achievements and the secrets, it's so obtuse. Like, it's still like, at least you can figure out how to beat the game. You know, go to boss fight, kill boss, but like everything else about the game is still just as bizarre as their older games.
Yeah, but it definitely is. Like, there's a level of polish to Demon Souls that like most of their games didn't have before. Like Ninja Blade is a janky ass game that people buy because it's a janky ass game. Yeah, but that was the game directly before Demon Souls. Wow. This is what I'm talking about.
And even Metal Wolf Chaos, like the gameplay is like, you know, good enough.
Yeah. Their big series was Armored Core before Demon Souls hit. So everything else that they made was always very odd.
Yeah.
Are you saying Lotus favorite?
I'm sorry?
And Lotus favorite.
Yeah.
Kingsfield game.
Yeah, Kingsfield.
Well, the Kingsfield game wasn't nearly like their flagship.
I mean, the Kingsfield
Armored
games
Core was
play
for a long
the
time.
way they're supposed to, but that itself is jank. But you're not telling me, Vice, that you think that Evergrace has anything weird about it, are you?
No, not at all.
You have a problem with Lost Kingdoms? On the GameCube, weirdly enough?
Low-key, actually, two of their best games are very underplayed. Otogi 1 and 2 for the original Xbox.
Actually, I was going to say 3D Game Heroes. That game's damn good.
That's a really good game, too.
It really is. I played that before I even knew it was a FromSoft game.
Yeah, that's not even a janky game at all.
No.
Otogi is really, really solid ninja action game, and so is its sequel. I definitely recommend those. And they're original Xbox exclusive still. They might be playable on the 360, but with most of the original Xbox titles, I don't recommend playing them on the 360 because the emulation's not very good. Whereas the Xbox One emulation of original Xbox games is fantastic.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. But not all the games that showed up on 360 showed up on Xbox One. For instance, Jet Set Radio Future is available on 360 if you put in the original disc of it, but you can't play it on your Xbox One. And that's unfortunate. That's my major original Xbox game that I really wish was playable right now. But moving on. I love this Stranglehold news. So this was really cool. I hope there's more stuff in the can like this that will be revived. Another one that I really wish would be revived was Condemned 2. The first Condemned is on PC pretty easily, but Condemned 2 is not.
Didn't the director of that game said that, take making a new Condemned game?
I love Condemned. I thought the first one was a lot of fun. I never got a chance to play the second one. I have it, but
the second
I really enjoyed it.
On PS3.
Yeah, it came out on PS3 and 360, but it never came out on PC, unfortunately. And I think the same goes for the Darkness, but the other way around. The first Darkness is not on PC, but the second one is, and the second one's not nearly as good as the first one. So that's a big shame. That's I hope someday the original Darkness comes on PC, but I think part of the reason might be that like an entire movie is in the Darkness.
Oh yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird, the entire movie is in it if you want to watch it with your girlfriend at the beginning of the movie.
Not the Tequila Mockingbird.
not Tequila Mockingbird. No. no. That would be the wobblier Mexican version. But yeah, no, you can actually like watch it in the movie, and I think that might have something to do with what happened there. So that's unfortunate, but. That was a fantastic game. I really like that. That was made by Starbreeze before they made the Chronicles of Riddick game, and that was a blast too.
Both of those games are quite good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Moving on, there was a new Arcade Archives release on Switch. I usually mention these if they're significant. I'm a big Konami fan, as everybody knows, and HyperSports is now available, which is a sequel to Track and Field, I believe. Track and Field is always a lot of fun. I really love any game that's a collection of mini games, and especially if they're fun to play. And most of those games are fun button mashing. They're a lot of fun two-player.
You must love Professor Layton games.
Yeah, I like those actually. They're pretty fun. But HyperSports is really great. I definitely recommend you check that out if you like those kinds of things. They're a lot easier to play than like summer games or winter games ever were. I don't know if you guys ever played those games. They're hard as shit.
Yeah.
I know that when there was those versions of games that were called like summer and winter games, but I don't know they are the one that correlate.
I think they are.
Yeah, they're the ones made by Epix. They originally made them for the Commodore 64, and then later on DOS and all those. They were also on the Lynx and NES. They were on like a whole bunch of different systems, but they were always difficult to play. Like they were all very hard. So I never really liked them. I know a lot of Commodore 64 players loved them back in the day, but I was always more of a fan of the like the Konami ones like this. So definitely recommend it. And I don't think there has been a really good port of this one until now. It's pretty great.
Actually, the one we had was made from Mindspan and published by Accolade.
Accolade, yeah.
Those got
that might be it.
Accolade published published and made a lot of
computer
games,
ports,
exclusively sport games.
Yeah. Accolade was pretty cool because it was they published the original Star Control on Genesis, and I like that.
Huh.
But yeah, this is the sequel to Track and Field. Like I said, this is the next year's game, so this is pretty cool. I enjoy this one, so definitely recommend it. Has let me see, swimming, skeet shooting, which is a lot of fun. Long horse, archery, triple jump, weightlifting, and pole vault, and they're all pretty easy to figure out too. So I really enjoy these games, and I think
if I may. Yes, finish it then.
Oh, no, that was it, pretty much.
Oh, just wanted to say, I also like these little alternative Olympics games. There was, something called California Games.
California Games was one of the sequels, as well.
There was also a game called, World Sport... I don't know what, World Sport Events or World Games, I think.
And those were all part of that game series like that. California Games, Winter Games. They were all like that.
Two interest, the Scotland one was the log throwing, when you have to throw an eat an entire lumber log. And the other interesting one was that where was a plate balancing, I think it was, when you have to balance an entire tower of plates.
Oh man, I think I remember playing that game. Yeah. Oh wait, no. I think I'm thinking of was it Snoopy's Olympic Games or something like that, where you have to balance a bunch of pizzas, something like that.
And I don't know. This was played.
Yeah.
And just for finally, there was also Caveman Olympics, which was very fun.
Oh, I hated that game because I didn't know how to play it.
I learned, so I know how to play a few of the games.
Yeah.
Me and my brother absolutely destroyed each other playing the fire igniting one.
Yeah, I didn't really like that one because I think it was just a very difficult game to play because I didn't know the controls and I rented it and like I never had the instructions. So that's one of those things.
When you had like analog joysticks and you have to like jerk it around in circles and back and forth and up and down and various like directions to like imitate some sort of motion, and if you didn't do the right rhythm or passion, then it just didn't register.
Yeah, I remember one of the games was fire starting, and I just never knew what to do in it.
You have to press left and right to rub the two sticks together.
Oh, jeez.
Hold up to take a big breath and hold down to breathe onto the fire to just give it kindling.
Oh, jeez.
I think the fire and direction buttons to smack the other player in the head, so they
mess up.
Not smash up, but they are paralyzed for a little bit.
Oh boy. Yeah, I usually like minigame kind of games, but when I don't know how to play them, I'm really frustrated. So that was certainly it. But
always the practice mode, so you could always practice. So
yeah, that's true. Well, moving on from that, got another actually updated former release. Square Enix has been really good about going into their back catalog lately and making a lot of their classics more accessible. They've done it recently with famously with Trials of Mana, giving us a brand new translation of the third Secret of Mana game that we never got, and they are making a remake of that game as well, but they've also re-released Dragon Quest 1 through 3 on the Switch. Now they're releasing Star Ocean First Departure R, I believe this week. So this is a remake of the remake of Star Ocean, the first Star Ocean game. So they remade Star Ocean 1 and 2 for the PSP. The Star Ocean 1 was originally on the Famicom, and Star Ocean 2 was originally on the PlayStation 1. So the biggest change in both of those was Star Ocean 1, because they redid Star Ocean 1 using Star Ocean 2's engine, so they updated it quite a bit. We went from being a 16-bit game to a full 32-bit game, which is pretty neat. But they are basically fixing up the PSP version, which was locked to the PSP, and putting it on Switch and PS4, which is great. So if you have any interest in the Star Ocean series, the first 3 games are still held pretty well in high esteem.
Well, the third game plays pretty well, but people who have played the first 2 are quite mad at where the third game's plot ending goes. Yeah. It was the first Star Ocean game I ever saw, so I thought it was brilliant, but as part of a series, it's like infuriating.
The gameplay is great, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like actually watching people play this game. The third game.
I watched my friends play through it in college. It was great.
But the ending.
It's wait, so we're talking about the RPG game, right?
Yeah, Star Ocean 3 Till the End of Time.
Oh,
it was a PS2 game.
Game that spoiler alert.
I don't want to go into spoilers, but that game. Let's just say there was an aspect of the game that didn't feel like the rest of the series.
The ending was like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I thought it was really cool, but that's because the first game I ever saw in the series was that one, so I was like, oh, nice, but everyone who was a fan since the Super Nintendo were super mad, or PS1 maybe, were super mad.
Yeah, I mean, I would very much love to never have to play on a PSP ever again. As much as I loved it at the time, it's just an inconvenient old system at this point. So anytime when one of like the good exclusives, moves on to something else, I'm gonna be all for it. And this is certainly one of those occasions. So I'm really happy about this, and hopefully the remake of 2 comes forward too. So this will be pretty cool. They're adding full voice acting to it, which is great. A speed mode. This is to the first game again, by the way. So we'll have a lot of modern niceties. So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming out on the 5th, I think, worldwide. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll pick it up right away, but I think that's a great thing. It's something worth covering in terms of releases. So a lot of people like that first game and the second game. So I'm all for it. Now, this happened a couple weeks ago, this next piece, but I kept forgetting to add it to the notes. But did you guys see that they found a significant prototype for Sonic 3?
Yeah, with like a completely different soundtrack.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go over this because there's a lot of significant stuff about this prototype. It's not just like, minor things not finished or something like that. There's like actually like content that was cut later and like rearranged stuff. So that it's very much significant. So let's see here. This is from an IGN article. This is from the cutting room floor and the Hidden Palace. So a lot of people thought that this was like like this level of a prototype couldn't be found because it's like really crazy. But so let's see here. So I think there are a number of like levels that are okay. So what's cool about this was that there were a bunch of screenshots of this particular prototype taken, and so they made it into magazines, and a lot of people were really hoping that this could be found one day because there were a lot of differences, and people were like, "Oh man, why didn't this show up in the new game?" So there's a ton of stuff in here. So let's see here. Flying Battery is here with bosses. So that's one of the levels I think that got put into Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah. Lava Reef is in Leftover Data. That's another Sonic and Knuckles level. Programming for many objects, badniks, and bosses, and for other cut zones hasn't been removed yet, and they're still present in the ROM. All 3 bonus stages are present, although all of them are unfinished. The special stages are nothing more than a programming test. So Angel Island has a lot of significant differences in its level structure. Let's see here. Oh, this is pretty significant. There is a drop dash ability for Sonic that got cut, and then somebody later added that ability to. I think Christian White had added that to Sonic Mania. So an ability for Sonic that hadn't officially been implemented until like a couple of years ago was now revealed to have been already thought of.
Drop dashes are like in-air drop down.
Exactly.
Butt stomp play, basically.
Yeah. So,
if we're talking butt stomp, that was in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, but what you do is you jump and then you basically speed up in midair, and when you fall, you speed ahead.
Okay.
So that's the way it works. So this is pretty cool. that kind of thing usually doesn't show itself. Like a mechanic like that, or somebody usually talks about it, but somebody in the Christian Whitehead added this ability to Sonic Mania, but it's never really been a part of like a genuine Sonic game until then, and here all along they had thought of doing that. So it's pretty cool. Ever since they were working on 3, they were looking at this. So, and there's none of the Michael Jackson music in it. It has like songs from Sonic and Knuckles in it.
Which is a shame because those were good songs.
Yeah, and probably the reason why we can't buy it now. More than likely. That's a shame. But I thought it was really neat that they have such a significant this version of the game is that significantly different. There's a lot of different backgrounds and things like that too. So this is definitely worth checking out if you are a big Sonic 3 fan. And usually prototypes that with this significant amounts of differences are very uncommon because it has actual working cut content, which is pretty big, especially for a beloved game. So this is pretty neat. Moving on from that, Capcom is teasing teasing unannounced titles for Jump Festa 2020. They've already announced the remake for Resident Evil 3, so I expect them to talk more about that. But I'm having a tough time thinking of a title that they would be working on that we don't know about yet, because we know about their significant titles, and Monster Hunter World certainly that had a recent big upgrade to it, so I don't think there's going to be another Monster Hunter game. So I have a hard time thinking of what a new title with them would be, because Devil May Cry just had a 5th entry in its series pretty recently. It's possible that it was successful enough to come out with another one quickly, but I don't think it's likely because they usually.
Remake.
What was that?
God Hand Remake.
God Hand Remake, that would be awesome.
Clearly, Dino Crisis 1 remake.
Could be even, who knows?
Or a Dino Crisis 3 remake.
Yes.
That was the one in space, right?
Yeah.
It was dinosaurs in space.
The one wasn't even dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
No, they were like mutants or something. Yeah, but
Capcom's bevy of games are so big that you can't just keep guessing, and even then you can't know if you hit it.
Gregory Horror Show 2.
we know they usually don't. They haven't had a new IP in a really long time.
Maybe they'll start caring about Mega Man again, other than reviving old titles.
Well, no, Mega Man 11 was recent and it did well.
True.
Maybe a new Mega Man X game, that would be really cool.
Oh, X9 or something.
Again, I would reach for the obscure games if I was them. But why not?
Maybe a Mega Man Legends collection would be really cool. Or maybe
Legends 3 finally happening.
Or Mega Man Legends remaster or something like that. I doubt that will happen, but that would be cool. I would really like that because those games are very early PS1 kind of games, because they don't even have dual stick.
No dual stick compatibility. Maybe they'll finally release Mega Man Legends 2 for the Nintendo 64. Mega Man 64 2 at long last. I've been waiting for that for years.
It was so funny. I was very unhappy when I found out that Mega Man 64 was just Mega Man Legends but worse.
Yeah.
I was very upset.
I sadly don't know the series that much, but I've been watching just a few Let's Plays here and there.
Yeah, they cut out a lot of voice acting and a lot of the music and stuff, so it's just it's just Mega Man Legends but worse. That's unfortunate. I thought it was going to be good, and I was like, it's like twice the Mega Man, being on on a 64-bit system as opposed to a 32-bit system. Boy, are you
nice
wrong.
Try, yeah.
Yeah. I can't honestly think of too many games that are better on the N64 than the PS1. There are very few. Yeah. I mean, Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Yes.
No thanks. We have enough Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah.
Like also there are very lot of fighting games. Like is it Guilty Gear has a new game coming out.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with
I
that
know
series.
everybody's excited, but I'm just sitting on the sidelines and like, what?
Yeah. So
what?
I think there were rumors of a new Darkstalkers game coming out. Maybe that might be it. Or maybe a new collection, because Capcom hasn't released a collection in a bit. They did the Beat 'em Up collection. It was fantastic.
Well,
I really
about the
love
Mega
that.
Man collections?
Oh yeah,
With the
they've been doing those. Yeah, they've been doing those, and Mega Man Zero is coming out pretty soon. The Mega Man Zero collection. Maybe they'll do a Battle Network collection. They haven't done that yet. Or a Mega Man Star Force. Was that the spiritual successor? That was 3D of that. Yeah. So maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll run the whole gamut. Because I certainly didn't expect Zero to have its own collection. So that's pretty cool. But hey, we'll see, right? Moving on from that, Taito is, aka Square Enix, is continuing to be very weird about its releases. I've been following the Darius collection and the Space Invaders collection, and now and we mentioned Bobble for Friends as well. But apparently they are doing yet another Amazon downloadable exclusive for pre-ordering Bobble for Friends for Cyber Monday. And so it's a one-day only thing, and you only get you could only get this download code if you do Amazon Prime in Japan. Just like the bonuses for Darius, which was a Game Boy version of Darius 2, and there was another Space Invaders exclusive game as well that they did the same kind of crap with. Well, this one they're adding the Japanese Sega Master System upgraded version of Bobble 1. So this is the only way you could get it, is by pre-ordering it. I'm done with these things. It's a shame that they keep doing this, because it would be cool to be able to play that game, but man, I'm not putting up with these ultra exclusive download code things anymore. Especially considering I can emulate or even play a Master System very easily. So I'm all right. I'm all right. If I want to play this game, I'll play it on my Mega SG jailbreak firmware. Moving, actually, you don't even need the jailbreak firmware to play Sega Master System games. You could just straight up play them on the Mega SG, right?
I would imagine you need an adapter.
Yeah, it comes with an adapter, doesn't it?
I forgot, because I know it was going to have several adapters. Maybe it came with one.
Yeah, it comes with the Sega Master System one.
Okay.
Moving on from this, this was actually pretty timely. Mega Man. There are several Mega Man games being delisted from the PlayStation archives in Japan. This is the PlayStation 1 titles for PS3 and PSP and Vita. They are delisting several really great Mega Man games. So they're delisting Mega Man 8, Mega Man X4, X5, and the Misadventures of Tron Bonne.
What about X6? That's also PS1.
It is not being delisted.
Okay.
So yeah, but this is only in Japan. The American versions are still available, but these are being delisted on the 13th. I would imagine that the American versions are not too far behind, so definitely buy them if you want them. I would say from the American one, because all of these games are playable on the modern collections like Mega Man 8 and X4 and 5, but Misadventures of Trombone is not. And it's a miracle that we even got a digital version of that game. So I would buy that game especially, because that is a fantastic game. It's really, really good. Might be my favorite game in the Mega Man Legends trilogy.
Which one?
Misadventures of Trombone.
Yeah, not to mention it's easily the most expensive.
Yeah, if you want a physical copy of it.
Get on it, because I can't speak for the Japanese version, but the American version's like $300, and on PSN it's like what, 5 or 10 or something.
Yeah, it might be even cheaper. It's like $5.99, I think.
Damn. Yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick. Mega Man.
Well, whatever, it's cheap.
Yeah, I mean Legends 2 is $9.99. That's great. Yeah, so that's a miracle we ever got that game too.
Well,
so,
yeah, with the Legends games, they had to fight for. Well, no, they didn't have to fight for anything. They had to reacquire the rights of brand names that appeared in the games, because I think it's a rule that PS1 games have to be preserved like that. Like if you're
which is stupid.
Yeah,
that's a stupid rule.
Yeah, well, they don't do that anymore, do they? With current gen stuff.
No.
I mean, PS1 they had to get the rights to the drinks from the vending machines and stuff like that. Could you imagine if those rights still existed for the Yakuza games? It'd be fucking impossible.
The rules for publishing a game on PS4 are much less stringent than it was for PS3.
Yakuza in general has so many brand names, and with the later games it has real life people and character likenesses, like New Japan Wrestling, or you'd have to play Yakuza to know this one, but Paul Lim, the dart champion.
Mm-hmm.
It's
wow.
Bring all that shit back.
Well, Misadventures of Trombone is available on PSN for $5.99.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said,
better than $300.
So, it is a fantastic game. If you still have any of those three systems, I recommend playing it on the PS3. But if you have a Vita TV, it's also very, very good. Definitely, or PS TV, I guess.
Yeah, in America it's PS TV, but
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, these are really good. I don't recommend playing most action games on PS1 on the actual Vita because some of them definitely use the L2 and R2, which you have to use the back panel to do that on the original Vita or on the actual Vita. So I definitely recommend playing with a controller. But yeah, these games were all really good. Mega Man X4 and Mega Man 8 are also really fantastic. I shouldn't downplay those, and the emulation of those in the collections aren't as tight as the PS1 emulation on PS3 or Vita. So I would definitely recommend picking those up if you want a really tight version of those. If it doesn't matter to you, to have perfect emulation, sure, get the collections, but it's definitely worth $5.99. Jeez, all these games are definitely worth $5.99. They're worth more than that, I should say. So they're really, really good. So it's just one of those things. It's this age of gaming, unfortunately. And going along with that, the Virtuon collection was just launched in Japan on PS4. I have been talking about this for a while. It has Virtual On, the original game. It has Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, which is the one that appeared on the Dreamcast, and then Force, which was the one that appeared on the 360. Yeah.
So it does not have Mars, right?
Mars is the one that was PS2 exclusive, and it was not a traditional Virtual On game.
Oh,
it was,
okay.
Had like it was more of an adventure style game, and it was pretty terrible.
Okay.
It was not an arena style arcade battling game like the others were.
Okay.
So this is really neat. There has not been a North American release date, but Sega is usually really good about releasing all of their titles on worldwide. So I would assume this one would get a worldwide release as well when they get around to it.
I was talking about Virtual On. Is it sort of this robot fighting game? I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, can you imagine like today's technology with all the like physics engine? Can you imagine One Must Fall the remake?
Oh, that would be a lot of fun. Oh, or Beat Down Fist of Vengeance or anything like that. Yeah, those would be a lot of fun. I like this style of game. They're all like the Virtual On games are so much fun to play in the arcade. I really love them. I really like playing them at MagFest. They had a unique setup with twin sticks that they've made special twin stick controllers for all the systems that these games have appeared on. They're a lot better than using like the regular controllers.
Yeah, they're playable with the regular controllers, but like it just kind of like, because I played the arcade one, it feels right with the twin sticks.
Yeah, so they're a lot better on modern systems because we have twin sticks on our like regular controllers. But it feels even better with the the arcade ones.
With the current controllers, twin sticks, you use your thumbs. You could, but like when we're talking the arcade or the twin stick controllers, what we mean is like the Atari sticks. So you could put your whole hand around. There's a button at the top. Like they're really good.
No, they're really fantastic. These games are a lot of fun. There was a crowdfunded project that we talked about a little while ago for somebody to in Japan to make these official twin sticks for the new system for the PS4, and they passed it, and they're certainly compatible with this game. So it's really cool. I really wish I could justify buying one of those. They're expensive.
Yeah, the weight alone would make the shipping just prohibitively expensive.
It's something like I totaled it up, and it was $400, and I could not do it. I could do it for $200 probably, but $400's ridiculous. I can't do that.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. And I would play this game a lot. Eventually maybe I would get tired of it or whatever, but I would love to have an arcade quality stick like that, and I just couldn't justify it.
I like somewhere I've seen like someone assembling their post-income arcade cabinet.
Oh yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I wish I had a dedicated enough money. Even if I did, if I wanted to buy something like this, it's so excessive. So I especially to get it shipped. I think if you live in Japan, it's much more reasonable. It's more closer to what my 200, but with the shipping, it just killed it. So I didn't do it. But they're also making an existing Virtual On spin-off that got delisted from PSN. That was Japan only. It was called it was like some kind of game that had like I think it was a Toho, or no, it was called like another Virtual On episode or something like that. I forget what it was called, but it was a tie-in with some anime and it got delisted. So, but they're adding support for the twin sticks to that. But that's pretty cool. But I hope this comes stateside. I think Force might need some translation stuff done to it or something like that because it was a Japan-only game. But then again, it was also an arcade game, and most arcade games in Japan are almost entirely in English anyway. So I don't know to what extent that has that needs localization, but I'm really hoping this comes over because I'd be very happy. I'd be happy enough to play with the controller. Moving on from that, another older collection it has a launch date. They're releasing modern remakes of Langrisser 1 and 2, which were pretty beloved strategy RPGs back in the day. I believe this is what they made Warsong into for the Genesis. I think that's what it was. Yeah, it is Langrisser. Okay, so yeah, Langrisser 1 and 2 were for the Genesis. It got, the first one got localized as Warsong in the United States, and then the second one never came over until recently. Via fan translation. So these are beloved RPGs. They're similar to Fire Emblem. So they're strategy games, but I think this will be really neat that NAS is Nippon Ichi is bringing over the remakes here, so that's pretty cool. Did they make a PC version of this DRC?
It's a Genesis version.
Oh, this is the Genesis version. Okay, so unfortunately they kind of futzed with the graphics. In Warsong, they made them they anglicized them. They made them all kind of like British looking and took out all the anime-ness. But somebody actually, some fans actually reinserted the anime stuff into the U.S. translation. So that's pretty cool. But these are really good games. They're a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend picking that up when that comes out. Let's see here. It's going to have updated neat things in it, so it'll be cool. Did you want to talk a little bit about Wrath, Dracologist?
Yes. Of course, recently, like a few weeks ago, Wrath Eon of Ruin has came out for public beta or alpha, I don't know. And I've been kind of futzing about with it. It is very pleasant to play. I do want to add another game to it, but like just for comparison's sake, there are two games, like two first-person shooter game. One is Hellbound, which has been in development for a while by a small indie team, and I do want to hit on their nails a little bit because they've been saying a lot of big things and they're trying to be big off their boots, but their game is kind of rubbish right now. Hellbound needs a lot of polish. Of course, the demo is free, but they kind of making jabs about things that they should not. Still, it's if they manage to sort of pull themselves up by their bootstraps, they might do something spectacular because it's kind of looked like if Quake 3 was an actual game.
Quake 3 was basically a multiplayer only game or like a one-player game with bots, right?
Yeah, it was an arena shooter.
Yeah.
And as for Eon of Ruin, it's basically what people call the official Quake 2, because it's going back to the whole Eldritch horror and demon stuff.
Yeah, so some background on this. I'm going to explain to the audience a little bit about this. The actual Quake 2 was not started as a Quake sequel. It was started as like a fresh game, and the story of Quake 2 has nothing to do with Quake 1. Right? Like, yes. It has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Quake 1 was fighting Lovecraftian Elder Gods, and Quake 2, and throughout the series through like two Quake Wars, Quake 3 and Quake 3 was a hybrid sort of, and Quake 4 was against the alien race known as the Strogg.
Yeah. Quake 4 was a sequel to Quake 2, right? Isn't that how it goes? And then Quake Wars was a sequel to Quake 4, basically, right?
I think it was an in-between series. It's sort of a filler.
Okay.
It was a multiplayer, sort of this strategical multiplayer game. Like, it was combining first-person shooter and strategy elements.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird game.
As for Wrath, it feels fairly solid, although many people say, and I can approve, that the game is a little bit on the easy side right now. Like, you have to really ruin, like, you really have to trip over your own legs to get killed. Otherwise, weapons feels nice. You get, like, you're going to swim in ammo because enemies enemies drop ammo. You have plenty of ammo pickups. Weapon alt-fires is where my problems begin, because it some of the alt-fire modes are redundant. Like, the first weapon alt-fire is pretty useful because your first weapon is this wrist blade, and you can swing it or you can charge it up for a sort of this forward charge attack that punches through multiple enemies, and it's pretty efficient. And not to mention, if you use it in mid-air, you can actually dash forward to cross chasms or increase your jump height.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make small, because you don't have, like, you have suffering from classic FPS protagonist problems, as in you cannot pull yourself up on a ledge. You have to use this sort of method to climb various areas. But it works well. The pistol weapon works well. It can fire 1 or 3 rounds. The shotgun has a little bit odd. It charges up and fires a sort of a flurry of.
Yeah, I heard the shotgun in Wrath is a lot of fun to use. Is that correct?
Oh, the primary function is just tears new holes into enemies.
I mean, but it's great to see that, like, they paid special attention to that, because, like, the shotgun is what makes Doom, you know? So, like...
It's I never liked the Doom shotgun because it was
really
very, very slow and cumber.
The super shotgun's where it's at, man.
The super shotgun is... Actually, I wanted to say that, you know, I mentioned about, like, whole alt fires and single, like, primary fires, like, kind of same but with different... The shotgun and the super shotgun in Doom is like that. Like, one fires faster but 1, the other fires slower but 2. So it's kind of like they kind of make each other redundant in that manner. But if, like, the super shotgun does have a nice kick to it. That said, if you do want to try the real one, real fun version, then I recommend Brutal Doom, where it actually blows enemies into pieces.
Like, the super shotgun in Doom 2 is kind of similar to the damage output of the rocket launcher almost, but, like,
if you're right in an enemy's face, that thing is devastating.
Yeah, yes, it's way better than using a rocket, because a rocket has disadvantages of splash damage. So.
Yes.
It's really good.
Like, if all pellet hits, it actually kills an enemy flat out, like, deals with exact damage of a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
From memory, I sadly cannot tell you how much, like, each pellet does. I think it's like 20 pellets per shot, because the shotgun, like, one buckshot in Doom fires 10 pellets. I might be going to get corrected in the comments for this, but I don't remember from the top of my head.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, Wrath is really, really good in this regard, but, like, yeah, they have to get a little bit more creative with the alt fires. Monsters are not nice and monstrous. I think my only problem was that one of the sort of grunt enemies, sort of the soldier zombie, has very snapshot aim. Like, he doesn't, like, 5 nanoseconds and it is already firing at you with dead aim. And it's kind of irritating. It doesn't deal too much damage, but it's kind of irritating.
I'm actually thinking about buying Wrath, but I might wait until it drops in price a little bit. The bonus for buying it is only 5% off right now. But you can buy a bundle with Ion Storm, which does make everything a bit cheaper. It's $10 off total, but I still might hold off, because I still have a lot of games to play right now, and so I don't think I'll get to it right away. So I might get it on the next big big sale. There's usually the year-end sale comes along.
And the Christmas sale.
Yeah, the year-end sale.
The bundle sounds actually good because Iron Fury is like a game that you can go in and out. Like,
yeah,
there is no. Oh, by the way, I do want to mention, like, in Iron Fury, you can say whatever you want. In Wrath, they actually use similar save system in Daikatana. Like, you have to pick up artifacts that give you save points.
Gotcha.
Or soul eaters, which actually would make the game a bit challenging, but like you can save scum. But again, the game is a little bit on the easy side right now, so you can. Like, I started using them because I was chock full of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my inventory was full. But yeah, it's. Yes?
I guess my big problem is I'm like overloaded with titles at the moment. Like I bought Dusk recently and I heard that was great. I bought a Medieval and I heard that was great. So and I have Ziggurat, which I heard was also really good. So
yep.
I picked up all three of these very recently, so I'm like inundated.
I finished Amid Evil, and let me tell you this: the last boss fight in Amid Evil is pretty epic.
Yeah, and I hear it's
a very good game.
It's a really good game, and so is Dusk. Everybody who's played Dusk really loves that one.
I don't know. I've seen Dusk, and I was like, it's quaint, but it's just not cutting it for me.
Well, I've been playing a lot of old school first-person shooters lately. Like I recently just loaded up Blood, Fresh Supply, and Dark Forces, the original. So I've been going back to those since I started playing the Doom games again recently. So
Rise of the Triad.
What's that?
Rise of the Triad.
I haven't gone back to that one. I'm debating on whether I'm going to play the remake or the original when I do play that, though. So, what do you recommend? I know you play everything quite a bit.
The primary game, the first original game, is very quirky. So I recommend the new one. I think the only difference in the crew, like in the old one, it's easier to spot the enemies. The new game, seeing the enemies from far away, they kind of blend in a little bit. That was my main problem with it. So when you enter a large area,
I heard the remake was quite good. So I might just.
Oh, it's super fast.
Yeah, I might just go along and just play the remake.
And it's just silly.
Yeah.
It's not taking itself seriously.
Yeah, I might go back to that too. I mean, I bought also the most recent version of Duke Nukem, which has some new levels in it too. So
Oh, that's nice.
Duke Nukem 3D, that is.
Yeah.
So like I just have I have so many of these, and I haven't even really finished the final Doom pack yet. So I need to go back and make more progress and beat Final Doom.
Yeah.
That way I'll have beaten pretty much all of the official Doom and Doom 2 stuff.
What I wanted to say. When do we going to get Apogee or 3D Realms when do we going to get a Blakestone remake?
Yeah, for real. Give me that Blakestone remake.
Really? You want that?
Dude, Blakestone's legit.
Is it good?
It is.
Hey, if they could make a good Wolfenstein game, a Blakestone game would not be hard.
Well, 3D Realms has been putting out like a lot of really good shit, like as of recently, and even a lot of like the modern versions of these, like Shadow.
Biomenace remake.
What's that?
Biomenace remake.
Oh,
Gimme.
Be Still My Heart. I would love that. But yeah, I mean, like nobody even talks about Biomenace, let alone like only me and Lotus and you talk about that. But like that game's forgotten to time. Unfortunately, nobody talks about that in the classic gaming circles. It's all about Commander Keen and stuff like that. But
even Commander Keen is not that much talked about.
Yeah.
We just know it because people like Minecraft uses the runic language is the intergalactic language from Easy Commander.
Oh, cool! That's really neat. There's like a Rosetta Stone that tells you what those symbols mean, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's in like one of the levels. It just has that in the background.
Yep.
That's really cool. I also really want to play the new Shadow Warrior games at some point too.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, no, but we made a lot of content out of a slow news week here, so I'm pretty solid here. Anybody have any final words?
Not. I don't think so.
Okay, well, we'll wrap up for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. I know how to read well now. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. Also, we have a great episode coming up on Thursday that will go over some of our virtual reality leaning interests. So definitely look forward to that. I'm excited for this episode. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, and Switch.
You could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, just finished up the Cat Lady, seeing exclusive live streams, or swinging by Discord and having conversations with me and other patrons, then perhaps consider checking out my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me on Skype, Discord, and Steam under the name Dracologist.
Great. Well, we will catch everybody on Thursday for another wonderful episode. We'll catch you then, okay?
Until next time, everyone.
Good evening.